everyone, I'm Ida Stamas from Union TV, and we are around the U today, and sitting with me is Athletic Director Ron Zieser. How are we doing, Ron?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking, and thanks for sitting down with us
No
today.
problem. Anytime.
Of course. So we're going to just jump right on into it. For those who don't know, give us a little bit about your professional background.
Okay, so I've been the athletic director here for 2 years.
Okay.
Before that, I taught here for 18 years. I was a social studies teacher.
Okay.
And then I coached football, basketball, and baseball here for my tenure, well, for my 18 years of teaching. That was so.
Why the jump? That's a different history to...
Well, I mean, the coaching aspect was
okay.
they kind of like set me for this job, and that's kind of why I was interested in this.
Okay,
I love sports.
18 years is a long, dedicated time. Thank you. So tell me a little bit about your coaching journey.
Okay, so I started coaching football in Milburn when I was a senior at Kane University.
Okay.
And I coached for a long time Union High School coach. That was my coach, Carmen Garino, who since has passed away. And I was his freshman coach for 2 years, and then I came over here and I coached for under Mark Crisafi. And then coaching changes, and I just outlasted everybody, and I stuck it out. And 2 years ago, I was my last game coaching, and then I became the athletic director.
Okay,
that
a couple
following
of
summer.
questions on that. So you said football, and what else?
Basketball and baseball.
Whoosh, football, basketball, and baseball. Did we have a favorite?
I really like them all. Basketball was one of my favorites. It's inside.
Okay.
And baseball was cold.
Oh yes.
And baseball and basketball was kind of like my own show. There was, I was the JV head coach, so I kind of like ran my own.
So you said that basketball was probably your favorite because it was indoors.
Indoors, the weather didn't affect it. It was my own show. We're very, very close with the players because it was me and 15 high school students, and we became very close over all the years. Most of those guys are the guys I still talk with. They come back and they visit. They send a text message once in a while. How are your kids? Aww. So you build a real close relationship in that basketball setting because it's a small group.
And I was definitely going to ask that. How does it feel that knowing your seniors go off and they graduate? Because I got to sit down with 2 of your students, actually. How does it feel knowing that you were there, you were part of their process, and now they're moving on to further steps? What is that moment feel?
Yeah, I think that's like the ultimate moment as a coach. The wins and the losses and being on a team, that's important, but it's like how they become men
Exactly.
or women. But in my case, I always coached men. I always coached boys. But I've been to graduation parties, weddings, for these athletes, and it's a very, very important moment. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So did you ever think that you were going to return back and coach at your alum?
No, I never thought I would come back. But when the door opened, it was opened in many different ways with all the different sports and teaching. So you couldn't just turn it down.
Yeah, it was like a no-brainer. Yeah. Awesome. So one of my last questions, what has the process been for you trying to get a girls flag football team? I've been hearing a little buzz about that.
Yeah, so one of the new sports that we have this year is girls flag football. Girls flag football took off in the state of New Jersey between the Philadelphia Eagles, the Giants, and the Jets supporting the teams financially. So this year we got supported financially by the New York Jets.
Okay.
The New York Jets supplied us with uniforms. I would say it's probably about $1,500 in uniforms. They supplied us with 50 to 60 footballs, all the equipment we need, all the cones and setting up for the field, anything we need, they send boxes and boxes of stuff for us. And with that, and I know other teams had the Giants or the Eagles sponsor them. And that was a major part because the schools didn't have to pay for it. It's we have to pay the coaching, but then that's it. Everything else was covered by the New York Jets. Throughout the state, I think there's about 50 to 60 girls flag football teams, and us being a bigger school, I thought it was important that we had it. I had an interest meeting. I had 50 or 60 girls show up to this interest meeting. We are currently in the middle of tryouts, and I think there's about 35 girls that are cleared from their physicals and trying out as we speak this week. They will have games starting in the first week of April.
Okay.
They will play other schools around our football conference. So we play Elizabeth, Summit, Westfield, Kent Place, and Hillside. Maybe there's one more. And then there are playoffs and championships playing the other conferences around the state. There's also going to be an all-star game before the boys' North-South game at Kane University this June, where we will have a girl representing our school there too. So.
That's amazing.
Equity is a big deal, and this is something that really kind of, bridges that gap between football for boys and football for girls, because I think it's important. This is something that's going to also take off. I think colleges, you're going to start seeing this become a scholarship sport in the next couple of years. NJSAA, the state governing body for high school sports, is going to in the next year or two is going to make this a high school sport.
think
Right now,
that's
it's
amazing.
considered a club sport, but it will be a sport in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, and definitely in time for Women's History Month. So I think that's pretty amazing. And thank you. It shows that your initiatives, especially with this flag football, but only in the voices of also in the voices of your students. And they talk about how helpful you've been and why they want to continue in the sport that they're in. So kudos to you,
Thank
first
you.
off. And last question, what advice would you give if one of your students came back to you and asked, you really helped me out and I want to follow in your footsteps? What advice would you give them?
Hard work is the number one most important thing. I know we had 2 students here just say that same thing. Without hard work, you're not going to get anywhere, whether you're a high school student trying to gain a scholarship or even you just play a high school sport, or whether you're a professional trying to get in the professional world. You have to put your nose down and you have to get to work. And I think that's the most important thing that I would say.
Agreed. Well, Ron, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking
problem,
with us
anytime.
and sharing a little piece of you. We really appreciate it. And thank you all for watching at home. We're going to welcome you back to another great episode of Around the U. We'll catch you guys next time.